welcome back for another voiceover because again, the world is a little crazy right now for me, so I'm just doing what I can to get my uploads going. So we're currently recording in the car today. I wanted to talk about this book I read yesterday. So it is like Nature Spirituality from the Ground Up by Lupa. I'm probably not necessarily getting the name right, but this book. So this one, I mean, the title does kind of say it, but like, I don't think I was really prepared for what this book ended up being. So this book goes over like how to introduce yourself and work with a totem, but not necessarily like in the ways you might think. So normally you think of totem, first of all, a lot of books are now kind of arguing that it's a closed practice term, while others aren't. So totem is kind of just like guardian. And also, usually you think of totem, you think of animals. And the author includes others, that you can have a plant totem and a fungus or fungi totem, which I don't think I've ever seen in any book ever. Like, been a witch 15 years, don't think I've come across that one ever, once, ever. So that was kind of interesting, but it goes over like how to create these relationships, how to start working with them, like what to do, and it does not go into any specifics. And yet it's not a small book either. It's got it's a decent chunk of a book, yet it does not have like wolf means this or hawk means that. None of that is in there at all. It's all about you experiencing it for yourself, which is very, very interesting, and I really appreciated that. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5 star because genuinely I actually really ended up loving this book. I think it is such a good resource for people. Like, I did not anticipate liking it as much as I did. Like, I really wasn't sure what I was getting into, but I've read other books, you know, I think it was called like Animal Speak or something like that, where the majority of the book is just telling you what the totems mean, if it's just like a brief message or if it's a like kind of life lesson sort of a deal, and it just goes over a variety of different animals, and that's about it. And this book did not do that at all. It talked about, you know, how to connect with your totems, but very broad, like animal versus plant versus fungi. Like, that's not something you come across very often. Sometimes plant, definitely never fungi, ever. That's never been brought up ever, I'm pretty confident. I've never read a book with that. And you'd think it'd be weird, but actually it's kind of an interesting concept. And it's good to like keep the science brain going, that it does not qualify into the other categories. It's its own thing. That's why it's classified different. Like, if you look in science, like animal kingdom, plant kingdom, fungus kingdom, they got their own things going on. They're different. And so it was really cool to have that included in this sort of a book. And she goes into it in such an interesting way of like how to give offerings, how to introduce yourself, how to connect with like the land, and even like how to describe like where you're from. Because like typically we go with like city, county, state, road, even like those are kind of our descriptors of like where we're at. And instead the author encourages you to be like, nah, like, where are you from? Like, I'm by this river and this mountain range. And it's like, that's an intriguing concept because like I've never thought about that. And so it's like, huh, like, and she encourages you throughout this book to do a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a she. I am so sorry if I've got that wrong. In my brain, Lupa is a she. I never actually really remember. Anyways, in this book, the author encourages you to like look things up and like know your local plant life, know what grows natively and what has been brought in. And the reality is like there's so many things that are brought in that you might not know about. And like, what are the plants that naturally grow in your area? And like, what are the landscapes in your area? And like, what like quote unquote region are you in? Not state line, county line, but like geographically, where are you at? And it's like, what, you know, what type of climate are you in? Stuff like that. It's really, really interesting. And honestly, it really makes you think about like where the F you are in the world. Because it's like, I never thought about it. And I was like, I don't know. really should know that, but I'm pretty sure the Wasatch Front counts as part of the Rocky Mountains, but I could totally be wrong because we never refer to it as such. It's just the Wasatch. But I think it's like a section of a larger group of mountains, and also the other side of the valley. What are those ones called? I should know that. I've lived here forever. I don't know. And like, do they continue to the other valleys? Don't know. Should probably know that. Like, there's just certain things, and it's like, pay attention to like, you know, when the plant life changes, and it's like, if you go north, for us, it's going to be the same for a very long time. Like, if you get to the tippy top of like Idaho, it is the same as here. But if you go just a smidge bit south, it changes drastically. That's when you get to southern Utah that everyone thinks of for Utah, because that's like all you see. If you think of Utah, you think of southern Utah, you think of Zion and the like national parks and the red rock, and it's really freaking hot. That's not all of Utah. That's just southern Utah. That's it. And then it kind of does its own thing down there, and it bleeds into like Arizona and some of Nevada, and like, you know, like southern, like Colorado, I think is kind of similar, and then like New Mexico. They do things differently than up here. It's geographically different. And it was like to think about like where it shifts and like where your local watershed is, and I'm like, I don't know. I know we have wells, and the city bought the one that currently where I'm at, that they bought the well, and now it's claimed as city water, and that's all I know. And then I know that we always are in a drought because they keep building houses, and they're like, oh my god, we're out of water. And you're like, really? So shocking. Who would have thought? Building 1 billion houses would put a strain on the water system in a desert. Who would have thought? But anyway, so this book I would definitely recommend if you're wanting to get into any totem work or guardian work. This is a really good book to get you started. It does not tell you what the animals mean, what the plants mean, what the fungi mean, but it gives you all of the other tools, and honestly, I feel like it's a very good way to start. Also, I feel like if you move to like a different region, this is a good book to pick up to like do the exercises and things to get to know the land around you if you move. And so it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. If any of those things kind of call to you, I would definitely get this book. She's a really good author. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it's patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day, even if it is just recording in my car. But hopefully we don't have the my heater in the background. My toes are just getting cold because it's freaking cold in the car. I turned it off for you and everything. So, appreciate the effort I went to record in my car. So, anyways, till next time, thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for liking, all of the things, boosting the algorithm, appeasing the algorithm gods, and until next time, blessed be.